this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. Today I'm once again with my Kawasaki KZ1000 project bike. As some of you know who've been watching this channel for a while, this project has been ongoing for me for several years now, and I originally bought this bike as a non-runner. It was actually just the frame. It was a rolling chassis. It had a separate motor and several sets of carbs and boxes of parts. So I have gone through, I have completely assembled the bike, and in the previous update I was trying to dial in the race carbs for the bike, and I just couldn't get them quite tuned the way that I wanted, and they really weren't optimal for street use and the type of riding that I want to do with this motorcycle. So in the meantime, I have purchased a stock airbox for this bike, and I have installed that. I've got a new air filter. I also purchased some new carburetor intake boots here that go from the airbox to the carburetor, and new clamps. I've also installed the stock carburetors for this bike back on the bike, and I've removed the race carburetors, the VM29s, and I'll probably use those on a different project or just sell those. This bike is also running a full Kirker header, and the good news is right now I've got 115 main jets in here. Those work fine. The bike runs very, very nicely as I'm going up through the gears, and it pulls nicely, it pulls very cleanly, much cleaner than the race carburetors with the pod air filters on them ever did. So I'm very happy with that. This bike still maintains a high idle, and so what I need to do is I need to go in and replace the pilot jets in these. I'm running a one size up right now, which is a 17.5. I've just ordered 20s for that, so I will install those, and I'm getting very, very close on the carburation, so I'm super happy about that. That's really been a holdup. I do have the bodywork all painted. I've got the stock seat for it. This bike is coming down the line. It's getting close to being finished. Another thing that I did was I ordered a brand new set of tires for this bike. Even though these tires have plenty of tread on them, even though they look okay, they're kind of old, and they're getting some dry rot cracks in the sidewalls, both front and back, and so I'm going to replace those with some new Dunlops. This week I went and visited with two other motorcycle restorers that are local, and I saw lots and lots of unfinished projects, and it reminded me that I still have two unfinished projects of my own, and I really want to get those kind of wrapped up and to the point where I can ride them as daily drivers, where I don't have jobs that need to be done on them kind of hanging over my head. So I hope to have this bike fully completed prior to the start of next riding season. The next long-term project bike I have here is Kawasaki's 1983 GPZ1100. I also bought this bike several years ago, and I kind of was going through it, and I just reached a point where I got frustrated with this project, and so I have set this off to the side where it's been sitting for a long time. Thankfully, this week I have made some more progress on it. I've installed this new gas tank, and this gas tank is rust-free on the inside, whereas the original tank that was on this bike looked great on the outside. It had rusted on the inside. Subsequently, it had been lined on the inside, and the lining was coming off in sheets, and I really didn't want any of that debris getting down into my motor and damaging anything. So I have swapped out the gas tank. That is on here now. I'm very happy about that. I have the new clutch waiting to go in, so hopefully this week I can get to that and get the new clutch in this bike. If you look at the stance of the bike, you can tell that it is long and low. The current setup on this bike is a drag strip setup. It has an extended swing arm on it. It's also strutted, meaning that it has no rear suspension currently. It's a solid rear on the bike. And because of that, this is really more of a street and show bike. It's something that I could ride to a local show fairly close to the house. I don't really want to ride it long distances without having decent rear suspension on it. Although this isn't bad for a hardtail. It actually rides fairly decent. I do have all the parts to convert this to the stock swing arm setup. I also have a full set of stock exhaust if I want to go that way. I'm leaning towards putting the stock swing arm back on it and stock suspension in the rear, and that would allow me to enjoy this bike as a daily driver and a bike that I could ride longer distances when I want. That's probably the direction I'm going to go, but again, it's kind of a novelty having the drag strip set up on it, and it kind of looks cool. I don't know if any of you out there have some long-standing classic bike projects that you're working on. If so, Feel free to comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you got, what you're working on, where it's at in the process. To view the playlist for this GPZ1100, you can click the link above, and it has clips of me riding it from the day that I bought it until after I got it more sorted out and how it was running. I also have a playlist for my KZ1000 project, and you can click the link above to check that out. Let me know what you guys think. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.